The Lucrative Youth.
You can tell me anything you want.
So, going to the video, we're gonna go ahead and like put the video up on the screen, and we're just gonna have to go ahead and have a reaction, or see what you guys think.
Cool. Dude, it took us like a number of days to get the right voice. We had like multiple people come in.
Yeah, it was like 3 different girls.
There's 3 different girls.
Yeah.
Each accent heavier than the last, but I ended up liking the accent just because it was more Miami vibes. So the accent,
she's from Miami.
It worked.
Yeah.
So that part of the video right here, when you're getting out of the car, what in that shot, what is going through your head basically?
So basically, I'm just like debating if I'm actually gonna go through with what I'm about to go through with. Basically, that's what sums it up.
I love that shot with the gun being raised up. It's so cool. I love the lighting.
That
Just
scene
adds the texture to the image. I love.
Alex
It
killed
just
that.
worked so good. There's Fordo. Dude, one of my multiple of my friends, Alan. So Alan is the guy that gets pulled into the darkness.
Yeah.
Like 3 of my friends reached out to me and saw some behind the scenes of like me and working with him and directing him, for the scene. And they're like, for a hot second, I thought that was you working with Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm like, I wish one day. But it was kind of funny, and I'm like, I was like, I wish that was. And then they're like, no, but and then one of my friends, she goes, I actually wouldn't be surprised if you were working with Jake Gyllenhaal. So I kind of stroked my ego a little bit, but it was funny.
Alexander played the craziest bad guy.
I loved that shot.
Yeah.
The Ronin was I just did the little rotation thing.
Aaron did the lighting crazy. Right there. That lighting was crazy.
Aaron, I cannot give enough praise to Aaron. The gaffers are always the unsung heroes. Aaron is such an unsung hero in this project. I cannot give him any more praise. Like, it's so much. He's just such a fantastic job. I love that shot. Shot's so good.
The beginning of the.
We were filming, and Fordo, he goes, "Hey man, why don't you do an overhead shot?" Because we had an overhead shot, but it's like, I don't know. But he pushed me. He's like, "Do the overhead shot." I'm like, "All right, good idea." I set it up. We did warp stabilizer for stable and post, and they ended up being my favorite shot in the entire film. Was that shot right there?
That shot is crazy.
Oh, it's so good.
Honestly,
The colors. I remember. I looked at it, and I remember I did the color pass, and with the LUT that I added, it turned the blood a little bit pinkish. So I did some secondary coloring for just the blood, and I turned it more of this dark, gruesome.
No, this shit looks
it looks
real.
so gross and vulgar, and it just looks gross, and I love it. And it turned his skin tone more of this purple red kind of color, because it was kind of smeared with the blood and kind of blood stained his face, and it worked perfectly. I love that shot. It's one of my favorites. It has this odd, especially because he's upside down. It just adds a little bit more to this kind of weird, like, upside down mind. That's one of my favorite shots of the entire project.
Yeah, this is really fire.
Yo, I busted out so many moves. Right? I was dancing for like 30 minutes
Dude,
straight.
half the time we weren't even playing your song. We were playing like Michael Jackson and The Weeknd, just whatever got him in the vibe. Into the vibe of just dancing.
So wait, this is the scene you guys were talking about.
That shot right there.
Let me see if I go back to it.
So that shot with just his foot. That shot, I had to drive like almost an hour to his place, film that one shot. After we wrapped 2 in the morning on the final day, we've been working since like 7 in the morning, wrapped 2 a.m. Then I sent everybody home. I had to go to his place, and then we wrapped that one like at 4:30, got back home. It was like 5:30, 6 o'clock, the sun was up, and just to get that one shot.
Like 30 seconds of film.
Yeah.
It
took us like 30 seconds.
I love how the moon was up.
That shot
That
was
shot was awesome. With the parallax.
Yeah.
And the slow motion, and the lights had a slow refresh rate. So when we shot in slow motion, you see the waves of the refresh rate. But I actually really like it.
Those are LEDs, right?
But it's not just LEDs. Those are stage lights. They're not film.
Yo, bro, how many times did we do that one shot?
The car. We did it like 5 times. We kept going around, just to get that one moment. But we ended up getting it, and it was really cool.
Yo, Alex killed this, bro.
He just
has that bad guy.
He exudes mafia boss vibes. So he was a perfect cast. I love that shot.
That shot was my favorite shot too. One of my favorite shots.
Dude, there's a lot of things, especially because after you wrap a project and it's out there, you can't help but criticize your own work. It's how artists work. But looking at it, yeah, there's a lot of things they can criticize, but there's a lot of things that I'm really proud of. And the feeling and the tone still invokes a feeling in me. And so I think that in of itself is a testament that we did a pretty good job. We made something.
Island. That pull up to the island.
I love that wide shot so much.
He was trying to escape.
We're just talking about the cinematography at this point. It's like
that looks like we're on a real island.
The island. When we were filming the island,
bro, it was so many spiders too.
I was so hot. How many times you have it run through the freaking island right here?
Only once.
Only once?
Oh, hold on. We were on the island. It was super hot. We were thinking about. It was a relatively fast shoot, but we were. Did we bring water? I don't think we brought.
Yeah, we didn't
bring
water. It was all
we had a jet ski
dehydrated.
right across the bay. It would have been fine, but still, it was. We were filming the jet ski shot. I remember our exec producer. He took his jet ski out and was like in the middle there, and we were gonna have Alexander coming in or Luke come. Or no, it was Alexander coming in. But the thing is, our exec producer took the other jet ski to go out, but he was like all the way over there in the line of sight of the shot. We couldn't get in touch with him, so we're just like yelling, and he's move. And then he just moves further into the shot. We're like, oh my god, move! And like until he's like, because we were like in a rush and like because we were losing light. Eventually, instead of getting out of the shot, he just got further into the shot. We're like, oh my god,
yeah, that was funny.
So finally, he got behind the island. And we're like, all right, we can do it. We can get our shot. So it
was like some giant spiders on that island too, running through it.
Fuck that.
I love that shot.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite.
I really like how he was just like
nonchalant.
He
was nonchalant.
Yeah.
I love the ending.
Yeah. I remember I first showed that to someone as like a little preview, and their face was just like, they were so grossed out by it, and I'm like, that's exactly what I want. I was like, yes, okay, good, we did it right.
Exactly. You gotta make people feel kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was the point. It was like,
you can't be like the same old.
The whole point is the character is just turning into this violent person, so we didn't want to hide from that. That's why after he shoots it, it's not like he pulls the trigger and it cuts to the logo. I wanted to hold for a few seconds and then cut to the logo, and even then still have the blood all over the screen. I want to hold onto it. You can't look away, and I wanted to make sure that you couldn't just like look away from it. That it was like, you're like, it's here. I'm showing you. This guy's brains are all over the camera. Like, I didn't want to hide from that. I didn't want to hide, and so that's why I wanted to include a lot of blood. I wanted that like impact to hold for a few seconds, because it would have been perfect to cut the black, done. But I wanted to hold on it just to kind of, dive a little bit deeper into this kind of like, this guy's like fucked up. Like it's like it's kind of fucked up. But that's the whole point. Is it invokes. I remember I showed it to when I showed it for the first time, it's like the reaction was grossed out. So I then showed it to my mom, and you could imagine the reaction of that, where she's just like, that's creepy, ew. I'm like, yes! Freaked out my mom, so it works perfectly.
Yeah.
No,
same reactions. The same thing. It was like, it's creepy, so it's like, when something makes you feel uncomfortable, that means it's probably good, because it's just like, if they don't have a reaction, then it's just like,
Well, it depends. Like, if you're making a movie like Sonic the Hedgehog and your character makes you uncomfortable, and that's not the goal, then
Exactly.
you have to spend another year in production. But if the goal is to make you uncomfortable and you get that, it's like, okay, yeah, like you actually are accomplishing the vision. And that's part of being a director. That's part of working with an artist is, okay, what's the vision? How do we accomplish that? And how do we carry it out? It's like, okay, well, we want this like really gruesome story. We want this gruesome story. We want this gruesome character. That's just part of the collaboration. It's like, here's the idea that we have. How do we bring it to life? How do we invoke the feeling of like kind of like a feeling off? Like, how do we move the camera in a way that can invoke a reaction, whether it be kind of grossed out, whether it be like really hyped, like damn, that's cool. Like it's just one of those things you just kind of have to work on. Every single little beat, every single emotional reaction you have to the piece has been well thought out. I mean, we had 6 months to think about this. Everything is thought out. Nothing happens by coincidence.
The Lucrative Youth.